essential skill to have a player in your team who can kick penalties and be very confident about doing so. I think each player has to have their own, the psychology of the kick is as much as the actual practice of it. I think it's important when you're practicing penalties as well, not to be taking maybe 8 or 10 in a row and say if you get 2 or 3 good ones in the middle of it, that's fantastic. I think really taking penalties in practice should be a one-off. You get one, you go for it. Do you score it or do you miss it? Because that's what's going to happen in the game. So I think if people who are going to practice their penalties, that's what they should be at. In playing in the normal practice, then stop for a second, get the penalty, have a shot. Do you get the score or do you not? And each player is a different style, but ultimately some of the key skills are going to be the same. Obviously, keeping the ball low is what would be recommended by all penalty takers, because the goalkeeper has to get further down to get to it. Picking a side, being confident about, not changing your mind in the run-up. I suppose how the player opens or closes their body on the run-up to the ball will give the goalkeeper some indication of where the ball might like to go. So really astute goalkeepers will read the penalty kicker's body language, and that's important that you try and disguise that if you can at all until the last minute. People need to, suppose, be ice cool because, Stephen O'Neill comes to mind for us, and back a few years ago he hit 3 in the 2005 campaign against different teams, and even though he knew that these would be on TV and people would be able to study where he put them, he still was confident enough to put them tight into the corner, and that's when they were from 13 metres as well. Now they're 11, so actually there's a bit of advantage for the kicker now. But yes, you need a nice cool mentality, you need confidence in your own ability to do it, and you need to try and take the kind of kick that's going to be most difficult for the goalkeeper to get to. And I believe that's keeping it as low as possible to the ground, picking a particular side, taking it as near to the post as possible and hitting it very hard. I mean, that's a brave menu to have to come up with. But if we want to be good enough to beat the quality goalkeepers that are around today, then you need to be thinking along those lines.
Just taking penalties from a young age, I suppose that was it really. The main things with it is just to keep your head down and pick your spot and not change your mind. After training, usually that's when you get most of your practice in. It's just not to be thinking too much about it, just keep positive and pick your spot and go with it.
When you get a penalty, most games it's a high pressure situation, so you're just thinking in your mind clearly where you want to put it, and just block out everything that's going on around you. And I think one of the most important things is planting your foot, that you're not kicking it with, so that's steady, and just try and execute and go through the ball on the spot you want to get it in. It's just taking counter steps back, maybe 5 or 6 steps back. I don't like to have a long run in, just nice and close to the ball, and just put a vision of it in your mind and try and execute it as best you can. Like they say, practice makes perfect, so at the end of every training session in Kerry we'd throw down a few balls and try and put into practice what we'll try and do in a championship match, and hopefully it comes off.